I'm a matchmaker for specifically high-performing entrepreneurial men, and a lot of the women that I follow resonate with my content where I talk about things like, "My fiance told me that work came first and I came second." There's not a lot of women who resonate with that. And so when I'm advertising that I'm a matchmaker for high-performing men, women ask, "How can I find a man like this?" And I direct them to my matchmaking forum, which means I have over 1,500 dating profiles from women who are specifically seeking an entrepreneurial man, and these are the top 8 things that they're telling me that they want in a partner. Now, I'm going to start with those top 8 things, but I'm also going to share the things that have worked in my fiance's relationship. He's a high-performing entrepreneur. He does a really great job of setting the frame for the relationship, and I have to decide as the woman, is this something that I want to step into, and is this a man that I can trust? So I'm going to touch on that probably like in the middle of the video, but the top 8 things that women who are seeking a relationship with a high-performing man are looking for. This is not going to come as a surprise, but I'm also going to be talking about how to actually embody these things, so stay tuned. Number 1 is financial stability and intelligence. So this is not just the ability to accumulate wealth. This is the ability to manage it and distribute it wisely, because a man is able to accumulate wealth, but I think that there's a real safety in a woman being able to trust that a man is spending and investing that money wisely. Number 2 is humor and playfulness. There's just nothing better than spending all day with your partner and feeling like, oh my gosh, I wasn't sick of this person one time. We just had the best time together. Everything was so light and fun, and we just had the best time together. Number 3 is emotional intimacy. The women in my database are really seeking a deep emotional connection as well as vulnerability from their partner, which means as a man, you being able to connect with your emotions. Number 4 is ambition and drive. And if you're a high-performing man watching this video, then you're like, okay, I got that one. Check. What I'm specifically referring to here is not just aimless ambition where you're wanting to build something from your ego or status. What I'm specifically referring to here, what the women have told me, is that they want a man who is a visionary man and is ambitious in the sense of wanting to create something bigger than himself and is more focused on the impact than how much money it will create in his bank account. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wanting a financial gain from something that you're pursuing. I think that's important as well. But it's more so having the mindset of, I want to create something huge and impactful that's going to affect millions, billions of people. Number 5 is loyalty and devotion. Honestly, I'm surprised that this one is not higher on the list, but every person in a relationship wants to feel like their partner is loyal and devoted to them. Not this romanticized version of them, but who this woman actually is. Number 6 is physical intimacy and sexual compatibility. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty intuitive. People want to be intimate with people that they feel compatible with and are able to enjoy the experience with. Number 7 is honesty and transparency, which means that you have to be able to give up uncomfortable truths about yourself while also holding space for her to be able to share uncomfortable truths about herself. There's nothing better than being able to see the good and the bad of someone and being able to make the educated decision that this is in fact the person that you want to be with. This is also where unconditional love comes into play, but there's just something about being with a partner that you truly feel is honest and trustworthy. Number 8 is health and fitness. This is the last on the list. Only 28% of the women in my database mentioned that they want a partner who specifically prioritizes their health and fitness. I would imagine that this number is actually higher. I'm curious actually why more women didn't select that this was important to them. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just subjugating them to my beliefs. But I know that if you're going to be a high-performing man, your health is also super important to your longevity, your success, and your mental bandwidth as well. Now, I would say that my fiance embodies all of these things super well. And I want to touch on a little bit about what has worked in our relationship. This is actually long spiel for a second. This is how I got into relationship coaching, is because when my fiance and I would go to events or business events, masterclasses, etc., people would notice us and ask me specifically as a woman, how am I able to be so happy in this relationship? What have I done in order to support him, but also feel supported by him? And for him, how does he balance? How does he specifically harmonize this romantic relationship, which does require time in order to sustain, while also building a business? And so when my fiance first started dating, he did tell me that work came first and I came second. And so what that allowed me to do, his upfrontness about that, allowed me to make an educated decision about if this is the kind of partnership that I wanted to be with. He did not set realistic expectations or avoid the conversation about how important his work was to him. And so I was able to make the decision of, am I willing to come second to my partner and his work comes first? And he was also able to give me a rough timeline of how long he would be having to work 16-hour days, how long we wouldn't be able to go on weekend dates because he was working. But he was so abundantly clear on what his schedule was going to look like. And that created the framework for me to feel, okay, this is what I want to do. And if this is what I'm going to accept, then this is the kind of woman that I have to be. These have to be my expectations, etc. He's always been incredibly good at setting that framework, regardless of if he thought I was going to like it or not. There's one thing about my fiance is that he is not a people pleaser, but he's incredibly tenderhearted and empathetic. And so despite work coming first for, I'd say, the first few months of our relationship, the closer we got and the more supported he felt and the less I was a distraction, or I guess the less he felt I was a distraction, or that, I said that I was going to be okay with it. And then he's mentioned he had previous girlfriends who said that they were okay with it. And then 3 months in, they were like, why aren't you spending time with me? But he did set the framework in the beginning. The more he realized that I was actually sticking true to my word and that I wasn't going to try to deter him from his goals, that actually his ambition was super attractive to me, I became the priority. So the one instance that stands out is that he was supposed to come home with me for my birthday, and last minute, like literally the night before, he was like, I can't. I have work. I have to shoot this webinar. I forgot what it was, maybe a whole course that he was having to shoot. And I think that was kind of the tipping point in our relationship, because I was like, totally fine. I totally understand. I know that this is super stressful for you, and I don't want you to be stressed while you're back home with me for my birthday. I want you to be really able to enjoy yourself. And so he was honest and transparent. He maintained the connection. He like sung me happy birthday and sent me flowers. And he was what was so attractive to me about that is that as a man, he knew what he had to do and he did it, regardless of what he thought I was going to think. I can't explain how attractive that was, that he just kind of stood his ground and made the best of the situation and still made me feel super loved despite not being able to go with me. But if you're a man, one of the most attractive things that you can do in a way that a woman will also subconsciously test a man is to see how much integrity he has and how well he is at sticking to his word. And this test that a woman does can be very tempting to give into. I'm sure there's science behind this, but this is something that women do subconsciously. Like a healthy feminine woman will try to test a man just like a man will test a woman to see how much he can get away with. And so ways that a woman will subconsciously test a man is seeing, if I push him, is he going to give in to me? Am I now the stronger one in the relationship because I can get what I want by pushing? Or if he does secede to what I was saying or what I'm requesting, what is his reasoning for it? Is it a deterioration of his strength and values? Or is it simply because he loves me so much and he wants to make me happy? So you as a man being able to discern the difference between the two and sticking to your word when you need to stick to it, but also subverting your needs for hers, like harmonizing those things. I can't explain how to do it. I'm not a man, but as a woman, seeing my fiance do it, incredibly attractive. Okay, the next thing that I want to move into is the deadly mistakes that women have mentioned their previous partners making. Number one is someone who struggles to communicate effectively. I think this kind of ties into what I was saying, where my fiance is able to say things that I might necessarily not like to hear, but he says them because they need to be said. But also, if there is some sort of confusion in his life, structure is unclear, schedule is unclear, etc., he's also able to communicate that and say, I'm not certain about what our schedule is going to look like this weekend. You can go make your plans if you want to, but I'm not sure what my schedule is. He's just so good at communicating, even through the uncertainty. Number two is someone who drinks heavily or changes the personality while drinking. I think this has to do as well with integrity and inconsistency. If a woman senses that a man changes his behavior in a situation, suddenly she feels unsafe because she has to build her own masculine container around herself. Number three is someone who lacks integrity or isn't reliable. And number four is someone who's not emotionally intelligent. Now, let's talk about emotional intelligence for a second. Emotional intelligence is not just the ability to sense the emotions that are happening in the room. It is the ability to connect with your own emotions and not avoid them or shut them down, but truly sit with the discomfort of feelings that you're experiencing while also not being reactive to the emotions that your partner is feeling. So it's the ability to kind of see through potentially her reactivity or her chaotic emotions and remaining grounded and sensing that if a woman is speaking chaotically or not making sense or just being super angry about something, typically it's a cry out for connection. And I have yet to experience a moment where I am just frantic about something or reactive or emotional about something, and my fiance remains grounded, kind of verbatim says to me exactly what I'm saying without agitating it, hugging me, and just telling me that everything's gonna be okay. And that works for me because I trust him. I trust that if he says everything is gonna be okay, I know that he will take care of whatever he is capable of taking care of. And as a woman, that just makes me feel so incredibly safe. And so the pattern is clear here. Women are rejecting men who are not emotionally available, lack integrity, or not serious about building a life together. And so instead of being potentially offended by these things that women are saying, see them as a roadmap. These women are telling you exactly how to be irresistible to a high caliber woman. So now let's assess your integrity in these areas that I said in the beginning of the video. So number one, the financial stability test. Do you manage your money with discipline? Do you know how much you're making, how much you're spending, what your money values are? Are you building wealth for freedom and legacy or for validation? Can you discuss money without ego or shame? Number two is the emotional leadership test. When she is stressed, do you become her rock or do you become emotionally reactive with her and agitate the situation? Do you create safety through your presence? Do you understand the ability and able to embody being able to be emotionally available without losing that masculine center? Next is the communication test. Are you able to have difficult conversations without becoming reactive? Do you listen to her and respond to what she's actually saying? Or do you try to subconsciously maybe misinterpret what she's saying because you see it as a personal attack and get defensive? Can you express your needs without attacking her character? And last is simply the integrity test. Who are you when no one is watching? What is on your phone? What is on your search history? What are you writing down? What are you reading? What are the TV shows that you're consuming? If someone were to walk around with you for a day and they were able to think your thoughts, read your writing, see your text messages, see what you're Googling, would this person who's following you around say, wow, this is a man who is able to create true safety for a woman? Or would there be work to do? So this is what the data says. Over 1,400 women are seeking a man who has financial stability, is trustworthy, takes care of his fitness, has financial stability, is able to be playful and fun, and just a really honest, true partner. The question is not whether these standards are fair. The question is, are you man enough to meet them? The truth is that becoming a certain kind of man isn't for attracting the right kind of woman. It's simply because that is the kind of man that you are. And naturally, it will attract a woman who honors you as a man, who respects you outside of your success, but it also constitutes you being able to disconnect who you are, your identity, outside of what you're able to achieve in your success. And so if you're a high-performing man who feels like you genuinely embody all of the things that I'm saying here, and you're sick of dating, you're sick of going on dates with women who don't meet the caliber of women that you see being your potential wife and the mother of your children, and you're kind of given up on dating, quite honestly, check out the link below in my bio. I'm taking on just a few more clients to maintain the boutiqueness of my service. I work specifically with high-performing men who are able to create something massive, who have achieved all of the success, but wish that they had someone to share it with, someone to come home to after a long day, a woman who would jump into their arms and kiss them all over and tell them what amazing man they are and how excited they are to see you. So if that resonates with you, check out that link below to work with me, and I hope you enjoyed this video.